What's going on YouTube? Earth Power here, bringing you guys another deck tech. So today we have light water dark WaveStrikers. So, I wasn't really sure which direction to take this deck in. We did this deck on the channel years ago. Not this deck specifically, but a light water fire version. And it was a tempo strat, but it was very poorly made. There was a lot of unnecessary removal in it. There were a lot of junky cards, and it really just focused more on the actual WaveStriker effects. It just tried to jam all the WaveStrikers that we could put into it, and a handful of other support cards. I don't even think it ran Aquahocus, which I think was just a mistake. So I tried to rectify that a little bit. This is just a rough draft of a darkness version, because I think dark kind of serves a better purpose for this deck. I think WaveStrikers is more of a control strat than... I mean, it can play both ends. It plays just a very mid-range-esque, feel. In the way that it can pump out some pretty beefy dudes in the beginning, like if you curve out with... this guy, Merlee, the WaveStriker that gives everything plus 1,000, into an Azra or a Revival Soldier, Azra, I don't know what it's called, and follow that into either your Hazaria or any of the other, these two. Just follow up, because you have to have two other WaveStrikers on the board in order for WaveStrikers to have their ability. And if you can curve out that way, then, yeah, it's great. Go for it. You'll probably win if you're not disrupted at all during that progress. Otherwise, you can sort of set your guys up and just kind of force your opponent to use unnecessary removal or unnecessary cards to, get rid of your WaveStrikers, really. So, we'll jump into the curve here. I've got it laid out by curve because I think that's just the best way to go about this deck. So your 2-drops include 4 Merlee, 2 Aqua Trickster, and 2 Emerald. And excuse my, we are on mobile again, so it's going to get a little blurry every time I move the phone in and out. But, yeah, 8 2-drops. We're running 2 Emerald because we're running a pretty decent... shield trigger package in the form of 2 Locomotiver, 2 Holy All, 2 Aqua Surfer, and 4 Terror Pit. If you guys saw in the overview when I was just holding over the deck, that it is 44 cards, and I think I know how to cut that down. Like I said, this is just a rough draft. This is definitely not a final version of this deck, and there's a ton of flex spots and a ton of different ways to play this. I was just messing around with numbers, putting things in here, drawing test hands, and just kind of, seeing how it looked, and this felt good. Not great, but good. So we jump into our 3-drops. 4 Azra, 3 Revival Soldier are our WaveStrikers. In this particular mana drop, 4 Aquahocus, because, they're nuts. You can't really replace Aquahocus' effect. And it's just the perfect tempo card. We are running 2 Tajamals for blocker support. Like I said, this deck can play very mid-rangey and can play almost like a control deck in the later turns in the game. So having, Azra with its WaveStriker ability, it just becomes a giant blocker. And with Tajamal, it's another really good anti-fire card. So they're both that's in there just to kind of curb and help that match up a little bit. And then 2 Energy Stream as our last draw card. It's just 4 Hulkus, 2 Streams for draw in this deck. Just because you want to find WaveStrikers, obviously. One on their own, top decking is kind of bad. And Energy Stream's just kind of the best tool for this deck. To draw with in the later turns in the game, and being able to pump out hopefully a WaveStriker or 2 after that draw effect. Jumping into our 4-drops, the 4-drop slot is very weak in this deck. We are running 2 Locomotiver and 3 Hazaria, the Duke of Thorns. I think I want to make that 4 He's got a Proclamation of Death effect, where if you have more than 2 WaveStrikers on the board, when you summon him, he gets his WaveStriker ability, and it says your opponent chooses and destroys a creature. So, pretty good, especially in the early turns. Like if you can curve into Hazaria. That's ideally what this deck wants to do. You want 2-drop Merlee, 3-drop Revival Soldier or Azra, and then 4-drop Hazaria, which is the only reason I think I want to make that a 4 of, just because it'll kind of mess with everything that your opponent's trying to do, and really, it's just a really heavy disruption, especially if your opponent's trying to build a board to combat the potential of a giant Azra or Revival Soldier. And now Hazaria is coming down and destroying one of the potential stops to that. We are running 2 Kirill, 2 Jagila. I like Jagila. It's kind of the clamp of this deck. Your opponent chooses and discard, or no, it's random, excuse me. Jagila says your opponent discards 3 random cards from their hand, which is fantastic. Again, lets you play like a control deck later in the game. And if you can curve into it, it pretty much dumps your opponent's whole hand. And, just give him the old, 2, 3, 4, 5 is fantastic, but if you're curving and you miss your 3-drop and that ends up being a Holkus or something, your 4-drop ends up being an Azra or just any other WaveStriker after you've already played your 2-drop, Jagila's a pretty good follow-up for that. And then the 6-drops are pretty standard, just a lot of shield triggers. Again, you want to be winning the tempo game with this deck, and it does a pretty good job, because if you can curve into, I keep saying curve, like, this tempo decks play off their curve, so I can't, overstate that, but, if you're hitting the numbers that you want to be hitting, and you're playing into your curve really well, the 6-drops just kind of help with that. Your opponent's coming at you, like in the tempo versus tempo matchup. They're breaking your shields. You hit a shield trigger, and you're back in the game. You guys have seen Hydras, and this deck plays very, very similarly to that deck, with the exception of now it doesn't need an Evo as its finisher. It can just play off of the very powerful WaveStrikers, and if you get your WaveStriker abilities off early, they're almost impossible to stop, just because everything's so big, and your opponent's going to have to come up with their own, hard removal to get rid of them, because most of their creatures aren't going to be able to stack up to how powerful the WaveStrikers are with their additional, power. And then our finishers are the 1 Blue Mercus. Again, just testing it. Like, these are really our flex spots here. The 2 Energy Stream, the 2 Taj Mahal, and the Bloom. It's 44 cards, so you can probably just, like, knock out any combination of 4 of those. Like, maybe leave a stream, go to 40. And call that a day. But, yeah, I'm, again, testing out the Bloom. I like having a solid finisher that doesn't rely on an effect. Like our Killsteins. Killstein has the WaveStriker ability that says each of your creatures in the battle zone gets plus 5,000 power, blocker, and double breaker. So turns all of your WaveStrikers, and well, just all of your creatures, actually, because it says each of your creatures in the battle zone, just turns all of them into massive kill machines, which is fantastic. So, leave a like. Let me know what you think of the deck. I know I rambled on a little bit, but it was just kind of I wanted to get this out now, because I know I haven't made a video in a few days. So, here it is. Hope you guys like it. Let me know what you think. Let me know what combinations of WaveStrikers you guys have had success with, if you've tried out this archetype at all. And, yeah. I will be making a trade binder video shortly after this, so stay on the lookout for that. CVH and I might get in the lab a little bit over the next couple of days, so I might have a match or two for you guys towards the weekend. So in the next like 5 or 6 days after this video. And then where we go after that is, well, we don't know. I'm not really sure where I want to go. I've been recording some gameplay of some Switch games that I've been playing recently. I might have some Mario Kart with a Mr. Teddy Bear Theo Wadley. So that might be something you guys see here in the next couple of weeks. You know, we've been having fun with the game, and it's just a really fun party game, and really fun to you know, just play and commentate over while we're playing it, because it's just very, very casual and easy to get into. So I think you guys will like that if we can get around to actually recording some matches, because the internet's kind of a pain here. But all that being said, stay on the lookout for more videos, more content coming your way, slowly but surely. And yeah, hopefully we see you guys next time. Peach.